and that life is actually pretty good, But and if I may criticize the media a little bit here, and actually not so much the magazine media. I think magazine media is actually pretty good, but the daily news media tends to focus on the worst thing occurring in the world at any given point. It is like, if you look at your news page or whatever it is, you'll see a spotlight on the worst thing on Earth. So it should be called, "What is the worst thing on Earth today?"
Yes.
It's terrible. No, I think it's. I mean, daily news media is probably to blame, but I think also there's something in the psyche of the human psyche which tends to place a weight on negative stuff more than positive. I mean, you want to react faster to the lion that's going to eat you rather than dinner's on the table. Yeah. Being dinner is going to get worse than having dinner. So even though that the news that you're reading is probably doesn't affect you directly and it's somewhere else in the world, it still has that sort of negative visceral reaction. I don't know, I'm not quite sure how that problem gets solved, but I do think the mood ought to improve because it's out of sync with the reality. Life is really pretty good. I mean, in fact, there was a good I think fire news. Well, actually, I read an article recently. I can't remember who wrote it, but it was called A History of Violence, and that we're actually at this incredibly non-violent period in history. So if one of the metrics you'll use is like how much violence is there in the world, we're at this ridiculously low violence period. The probability of someone in the world dying from war or some violent event is extremely low, at the lowest it's ever been in history. That's a reason to be positive. And if you look at most countries in the world that we used to consider to be, I guess, poor, I mean, like say India or China, they've made massive strides. That's, I suppose, a good and a bad thing. It's good, obviously primarily good, but it also means that there are a lot more resources that get used. China is now putting more new cars on the road than the US is. But still, it's a good thing overall. So I wouldn't think of the rest of the world as not improving. I think it is improving. One may be unhappy with the rate of improvement, but it certainly is. It is improving. There's still issues in lots of parts of the world, but they're going in the right direction. They're not getting worse, except in a few exceptional cases. And where those are exceptional cases, they tend to be more driven by corrupt government or civil war than technology problems. So, but it's sort of unfashionable these days to sort of go and take out some, well, I guess maybe it's not that unfashionable, to take out dictators of other countries. And so I'm not sure what I could do, in that thing. It's like I don't think these are technology problems.
Appreciate.
Better for the vast majority of people in the world. I mean, it's difficult to bat 1,000 on everywhere all the time. But the vast majority of people in the world, life is good.